I'm Jack Kennedy, and we're here to bring you the latest in MMA.
Hey everybody, my name's Hunter Boss, and what the boss says goes.
What is up everyone, my name is Keelan McNamara, and you already know what time it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MMA Island podcast. I am Jack Kennedy alongside Keelan McNamara and Hunter Boss. Let's get started with the news. Kai versus Brandon Moreno. A bit of an odd one to be made, but they're talking about an interim championship because Figueiredo is not ready. Hunter, what do you think about this fight rumor potentially about to be booked?
I don't hate it at all. I'm very happy this got announced. Though I want the fourth fight to happen. If Figueiredo's not ready and Moreno is willing to fight another person, this is the fight to make. Kai Kara-France is a difficult opponent, though he provides unique challenges. So I'm excited to see what the Kai Kara-France can bring to the table for this fight.
Yeah, I'm with Hunter 100% on this. I really, really like this fight. And it kind of comes back to our conversation we had after the Askarov fight with Kai Kara-France. And we did say if the fourth fight didn't happen, this is the fight that probably should be made in order to see some progress in the division. So yeah, I actually think this fight makes way more sense than a lot of other people think it will. Kai Kara-France, he's coming off a savage knockout of Cody Garbrandt. He's coming off a very impressive but slightly controversial decision over the next best lightweight in the world in Askarov. And yeah, to me, this fight makes a lot of sense. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do the immediate, quadruple fight or whatever, however you say it. Not trilogy, but the fourth fight with Figueiredo. But obviously Figueiredo's not fit for that fight right now. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to make this one, which I can't complain. It's going to be a banger of a fight. These guys like to throw down. This is where we really find out what Kai Kara-France is made of, if he really is the real deal here. We know Brandon Moreno is. It's for an interim belt. And there's a lot of interim belt thrown around these days. I think this one's okay because the champion's out. And these guys, Brandon Moreno is that championship material. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be on one of those July cards, which are looking ridiculous right now. July 30th might even feature Justin Poirier. I mean, I'm just so excited for this summer, especially the month of July. And this fight just adds to the excitement because it's guaranteed fireworks. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the best of the best. And today we're talking about Chandler Ferguson. So Hunter can get a little take on it. What's the fight to make after this fight?
It's McGregor, dude. I am so happy about what happened on a Saturday night, the other night.
Yeah,
I love Tony Ferguson. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Here's my boy right here.
Yeah,
my boy Tony Ferguson right here. Okay, I love him. All right, but honestly, it is a new day and age, and I am happy that this new day and age of Michael Chandler, Iron Mike, is on the scene. I think Michael Chandler deserves everything he's gotten in the UFC so far.
100%.
He goes out there and he puts on a performance whether or not he thinks he's going to win or lose. And against Conor McGregor, that's what the UFC wants. They just want a good performance to get McGregor back on the scene again. And, Michael Chandler's susceptible to getting hit. So if McGregor has a chance in striking, he has a chance anywhere on the game, So Michael Chandler, he presents a unique challenge to Conor McGregor, maybe one he hasn't seen in a while. Though I'm excited for anything that does happen. Any fight Michael Chandler has, I will be behind Michael Chandler now. I mean, this guy is one of my most entertaining fighters I've seen in a long time. So Michael Chandler, McGregor, let's make it happen, Dana.
Yeah, again, we're 2 for 2 in segments today on this episode. I agree with my boy Hunter. I can't believe I do, but I actually do. I didn't think I'd be saying this about anybody, but, the stars are kind of aligning here. And the Conor McGregor fight actually makes sense. It really, really does. You've got Michael Chandler, who, aside from Charles Oliveira, who is the champion. Let's be honest. I think we all know that. Aside from Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler's probably the hottest property at lightweight right now. You know, every single fight he goes in is a fight of the year contender, round of the year contender, regardless of how long it goes on. It's kind of dependent on that. But this fight makes sense. It really, really does. Hunter's just given you an excellent argument right there. I'll add to it a little bit if I can. Michael Chandler, brilliant lightweight, but he's prone to getting hit. He fights emotionally, except for Tony Ferguson, where he landed a brilliant double leg, but he mostly fights emotionally. He's a real crowd pleaser. He's a real crowd fighter. Conor McGregor is as well. You know, love him, hate him. It's what he does best, arguably better than anybody who's ever done it. The only caveat to this, there's only one way this goes wrong for the UFC. Obviously, this fight is Dana White's wet dream. You know, you've got a guy who wants to throw against a guy who doesn't want anything to go to the ground. You know, you can't write it any better than that. The only caveat to this is that this fight has to happen at lightweight. I respect Chandler for calling McGregor out at welterweight because then McGregor has nowhere to go. He can't turn it down. But if you're looking to do what Hunter's just said and you want to get Conor McGregor back in the scene, the only way to give him any relevancy again is that it has to be at 155. Because we can argue for, against, one way, up, down the other, that Conor McGregor could be, you know, he could have a very, very remote path back to the title by knocking out Charles Oliveira. It's way too early in the morning for my guys to even remotely talk about that. The point is, it has to happen at lightweight because McGregor will get no traction at welterweight. Chandler would, but McGregor wouldn't. It wouldn't make any sense. Now, if McGregor's willing to cut the weight and come back down to 55, sign me up because I'm with Hunter on this as well. For McGregor, it gets him relevancy again. He doesn't even have to win. He just has to look half decent and he will have relevancy again. If Chandler plows through him, he's next in line for the title, arguably. So yes, there's many other fights we could say, but for me, this is the fight that makes the most sense money-wise and popularity-wise as well.
Oh yeah, it's the one I want to see. I mean, Chandler, Hunter, I agree with you, man. Because obviously we all love Tony Ferguson. He looked like he was back in that fight. He looked vintage in the first round. And then Chandler goes out there and delivers one of the most brutal knockouts I will ever see against a guy who never gets knocked out. So I was losing my mind. I was so happy for Michael Chandler. And also, I'm going to go on record and say this: that was a top 3 shout out Octagon interview that I've ever seen. I'm not going to say the
10 promo, 10 out of 10.
I'm not going to say the best one because I don't have a list in front of me and I'm not putting too much thought power into this, but it was amazing. Michael Chandler is so entertaining. No wonder the Chandler Gaethje fight was so exciting because those are, in my opinion, probably the 2 most exciting guys in the UFC right now. And no wonder. Justin Gaethje is super exciting, and Michael Chandler, oh my goodness, every fight is a must-watch fight because there's not a boring second. You know, it's almost like we had to watch that one in order to watch the Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza fight. It was like the price we had to pay. But yeah, it was amazing. And I agree with him. I mean, look, the Conor fight just makes sense. I think it's like Conor's in this limbo zone. Who does he fight? He's not going to fight Poirier again. Diaz is, who knows what's going on. He's peeing in the UFC PI. We don't know what's going on. So I think for me, I think the Conor fight makes the most sense. It's the fight that I want to see because Conor's super exciting. Obviously, Chandler's exciting. I have no idea who would win that fight, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, yeah. Conor it's stylistically probably a really good matchup for him, but Chandler has hands of stone, might be one of the hardest hitting 155ers on the planet, really. Plus the wrestling he can mix in. I mean, it's a very interesting fight, intriguing fight. Both their gas tanks aren't great either, so we're going to get just a barn burner for 2 rounds. It's what I want to see. I think it's what everyone wants to see. To be honest with you guys, I mean, I'm not even really worried about the weight. I think 170 is fine because I don't know where Conor's head is at. I don't think he can cut back down to 155 right now, the way he looks on Instagram. Or if you could, I mean, it might not be worth it. So I think Chandler, 170, 155, wherever it is, I want to see that fight. I agree with all of you. I think it's a fight to make. But also, guys, this is a very important podcast because, in case you didn't know, our least favorite fighter, Alexander Rakic, is fighting in the main event tonight. So let's go ahead and transition to the pick of the night. Rakic versus Jan Blachowicz, killer fight night. What is our pick for that fight and our upset of the night? Hunter, take it away.
Jack, I feel like we've known each other for a while now.
We've known each other.
Been
Yeah.
almost a year, if not
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Oh, it's more than that. Yeah.
It's a little bit more than a year now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
About 2
crazy to
years.
say.
Yeah.
Jack, there are a few certain types of fighters that we never bet against. Okay. There's Alistair Overeem when he's on steroids, also known as Ubereem. We don't bet against Ubereem, all right? We now do not bet against blonde Charles Oliveira. Everyone knows that is a no-go. Not anymore, guys.
Nope.
Not in this day and age.
Nope.
And one more thing that I'd like to mention. You do not bet against underdog Blachowicz, all right?
Oh.
Underdog Blachowicz is the next mythical fighter that everyone needs to take into account. Blachowicz has been underdog 11 times in his UFC career, and out of those 11 times, he has won 9 out of the 11 fights. He has a fantastic track record at being an underdog, and I think it would just be very unwise of you not to pick Jan Blachowicz in this matchup for any reason. I mean, for any reason I could give you. I mean, I think Jan Blachowicz is better at striking. I think he's more powerful fighter. He's not as big as Rakic, but that's okay because he's just going to knock him out before Rakic can reach him. I mean, Jan Blachowicz is one of my favorite fighters, so this might cloud my judgment in the slightest, but I don't think it does really because Jan Blachowicz's record speaks for itself. I mean, he was the former light heavyweight champion of the world. If he doesn't have a giant Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt threat in front of him, then I don't think he has much of a threat at all. So I think Jan Blachowicz is my pick of the night as well as my underdog of the night because what the boss says goes at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Let's go.
My God, boys. I tried mustering as much energy as I could, but I also did not want to wake my roommates. So that's what you get.
That was amazing. That was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We've got a what the boss says goes at 8 a.m. in the morning. And ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that, you know you've had a great episode. You know, not just in the afternoons or the nights, in the mornings we have what the boss says goes.
All times of the day.
Yeah, there's some lucky fans. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
447-365, we keep it going. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately for this fight night, we have in the main event our first ever honorary inductee into the Hall of Shame for the podcast in Alexander Rakic, unanimous, undefeated, undisputed, most hated fighter between all of us. Congratulations, Rakic. You know, you have that honor to add as well. But yeah, it's so weird. 3 for 3. I'm with Hunter on this.
Stop it.
Yeah. Hey, technically, we've all agreed for the first 2 segments. So yeah,
3 for 3 is like Steph Curry with these picks. You know,
he's never happened.
Nailing shots from half court. It's a good pick. You don't bet against underdog Jan Blachowicz. You know, has nobody learned anything from Jan Blachowicz's career? He's been an underdog his entire career. Like Hunter said, betting underdog betting underdog in 11 fights. He's won 9 of them. That's like an 87-88% win percentage from being an underdog. You don't see anybody put up those kind of numbers. That's mental. And plus, with Jan Blachowicz, the thing that I think is actually going to help him is that he's facing a fighter who's not going to want to engage with him. Yeah, you know, Alexander Rakic, hatred aside for his style, he's not going to want to engage with Jan Blachowicz. He's going to want to walk back, counter strike. And Jan Blachowicz generally does pretty well against that style. Like Hunter said, he doesn't have a Brazilian jiu-jitsu threat in front of him like Glover Teixeira. So generally he's going to be free to stand and bang as he needs to. I actually don't even see this fight going very long. I think maximum this fight goes 2 rounds, and I think we even see a violent first round finish here. For me, Jan Blachowicz is going to run in, he's going to catch Rakic on the chin with that sledgehammer of a right hand, and I think he is going to put him down. That's just the way I see it happening. And for upset of the night, this is very interesting because there's a fight slightly lower down in the card that I think is actually going to be very good, and I actually think there will be a relatively big betting upset on it. And I think it's going to be Ryan Spann against Ion Cutelaba.
Yeah.
Ryan Spann is plus 180. I think Ion Cutelaba is around minus 220, if I'm not wrong. I know a couple of places.
I checked. It's around that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's around minus 220. And you might be wondering why I'm going with Ryan Spann. One very simple reason. Ion Kuchalaba doesn't know how to keep his hands up in a fight. He just charges around the octagon like some sort of mad bull. And Ryan Spann is not on the best of form right now. I'm certainly not going to argue that he is, but he can still knock people out. And when you don't put your hands up, you get knocked out. Shock. So, Ion Kuchalaba, if you do not keep your hands up, as I don't think you're going to, I think Ryan Spann's going to bring that right hand round, and I think he's going to knock him out in the first round again. He fights. I think he's the most emotional fighter I've ever seen, and that's the worst possible ingredient to have in the fight game. You don't bring emotion into this. You got to fight with your head, not with all of your heart and your psyche. So, Ion Kuchalaba, I see getting knocked out again. And I see Ryan Spann picking up a big win and getting some momentum back finally in the light heavyweight division. And gents, it's 8 a.m. over there. Do you know why those picks are? Do you know why you picked those picks? Because when you want to know where it's at, you listen to the Mac.
Ooh,
That's a good one. There you go, Keelan. That's gotta be the one to go with.
We're bringing we bring the flames more than a barbecue. We bring the flames every time.
What was that? Hey, say it again. Run it back real quick, Keelan.
Keelan has this good moment, and then it went.
Fucked it up at the
end. So guys, I think there's a side to the main event that we're not seeing.
No, I agree with you, Jack.
I think that Rakic is a really, like, I know we say what we say about him on the podcast, but he's very good at keeping his distance and not engaging his way to victory. He's done it like 4 times in a row now. And I say that half sarcastically, but I also mean it. It's a way that he wins. Which, unfortunately is why. Forget that. I'm going Jan Blachowicz. We're going Jan Blachowicz on the podcast. Come on. There's no way we're going Alexander Rakic. Absolutely no way. No. Well, I'm not ruining the streak. We all agree for the first time ever, probably. Look. Jan Blachowicz is amazing. Look, I actually am a little worried because it is him coming off of a loss to the title fight, and Rakic is long. He has a long reach and everything, but like Hunter said, Jan Blachowicz, I would be shocked if he does not engage in this fight, because that's what he does, is engage, throw bombs, he goes forward, and he's going to be a man on a mission. He looks ready to go. If you've seen him at the weigh-ins, he looks ready to go. He looks ready to get his belt back. And this is what's going to happen. Rakic used to be really good at firefights because that's what he used to get in all the time. He used to be one of the most exciting fighters in the light heavyweight division until he decided to not do that anymore. What's going to happen this Saturday night, or actually tonight, which it actually is tonight because this is when we're doing the podcast. It's crazy. Sorry. Jan Blachowicz is going to engage with him. And how he handles that engage, he hasn't had that firefight in so long. Like years, maybe 3 years or almost 4 years. He hasn't had a real firefight. He's going to have a real firefight tonight. And how he handles the Polish power, not many people, if any, can handle the Polish power. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Jan Blachowicz gets back on the win streak, defeats Alexander Rakic. I agree with you guys. That could be my upset of the night. But again, Keelan always steals my pick. So I was going to say Ryan Spann, and I had that written down. He's plus 175 is the odds I had. I agree with Ryan Spann as well for all the reasons Keelan said. But guys, what a podcast. We all agree. Jan Blachowicz for the win over Alexander Rakic. If we're all wrong, we all go wrong together on this one. We're joined in arms on this. So, but great podcast. Thank you everyone so much for listening. As always, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. You can listen to us everywhere, literally everywhere, including iTunes and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at MMA.island and check out our website, MMAisland.net. And we're Team Blachowicz over here.
Polish power.